intentional because we specify that using the RNG in here. So the seeded random number generator, I'll just show you seeded it's RNG. It implements the Python random interface, but also adds a few things, currently only one thing, which just gives a uniform value between -1 and 1, which is nice if you want to have things centered. So this is saying around the value 0 on the x-coordinate, go 900 left and 900 right. So if you wanted just a very small deviation, you can change that to 9, and the exercise will automatically pick that up and use that 9. So now you can see in here we always start basically at the center. And randomness is nice just so your training doesn't overfit, and make sure that it does the right thing most of the time rather than does the right thing just in this one particular instance. So yeah, one thing that I want to demo is that the reloading in this happens every time, and you don't have to keep everything in one file. We can make a, let's call it training util.py and def get starting get cast.x which takes a random number generator and returns me a float. We're going to do the import for that. Probably nicer ways of doing that. I like doing it manually and just keeping it as a text editor. That's nice. So we want to return get car start near goal. You could make these more complicated, like return the entire thing, but I'm just gonna return this vector here. Return this. And by the way, I have now introduced an error into the code. Python says there's a syntax error, but the training keeps running, and occasionally this refreshes and tries to reparse your file. So that's all good. I want to import this new module that I've made from training. I'm gonna do import training util, and in here training util dot get car start near goal and RNG. Bloop. Vector 3 is not defined. Okay, that's because it tried to return a vector 3, and it's not just a float that we're returning a vector 3. I could leave this entire thing in, but because we might do more of it. Yeah, so Python isn't type safe, so it let me run the code. But it's fine because I've spent, 20 seconds fixing it rather than 20 seconds compiling. Works for me. So, in this, so I could make it rng.uniform between, let's call it 2000 and between 1000 and 2000. So it's always going to be off to one side, and yeah, maybe if we get lucky we see it not getting a shot in. So previously we kind of always passed, but now we get a fail message for some of the things. and that's kind of okay, because this bot is not very smart. Okay, so now you basically know the basics. I'm going to show you a few other ways of doing it. Because if you want to do like slight variations of a single exercise, you could make a new one of these every time, but the smarter thing to do is parameterize your exercise. We want to specify the starting location rather than having it random, always in the same range. So if you want to parameterize it by the starting location, you could make a new property for your data class. Let's call it cast.x is a float, and by default it's 0. And then we can use this rather than RNG vector 3 self dot cast.x 0 0. Actually, vector is not defined, should be vector 3, and we start from 3000. So this is the center x, and we've kind of lost our rendering. It's kind of a shit thing that happens sometimes. I think that training, not the training framework, but actual RLBot framework kind of needs to fix that shit.
Activated.
I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's my fault, maybe it's their fault. So I've restarted it and it should start rendering again with these things. We have a hello world in here. So back to this, we have our property, and we don't need to write a constructor because it's a data class, which is really nice. So we can just make the bot start from the right by putting it at this position here. So when it starts, oops, I meant to say, so the second exercise, which starts perfectly center, actually doesn't start perfectly center. So we're gonna make that one here starts on the right. And yeah, now the names have updated, and we start either from the center or from the right, and yeah, everything is nice. Cool. As I said, this is really nice to develop your bot with, because you specify your exercises and you can modify your code. So the common thing is here, we do this, and now the bot drives backwards. In reality, you would do more complex modifications. This thing is resilient against syntax errors. It'll show you your problem every time, and if you keep running the bot, but you'll have errors. So yeah. Now it doesn't show me errors again, it's fine. So I've taught you how to make your own exercise. That's just a striker grader, but you might want to have your own success criteria. For instance, for this bot, all it does is drive towards the wall. So what we want to test is that it actually ends up near the ball. Like for your own exercise, maybe like you want to make sure that it hits the ball in the correct direction.